Streaming now, and we should be live. So, hello everybody, welcome to
Oh
Bricks.
shoot!
Welcome to Bricks of Bits, episode 73, brought to you by no one. Our guest this week is Nick on Planet Ripple. You have,
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah. Oh my God, that just reminded me. I think my favorite part of the episode, even though Greg and Justin haven't seen it yet, is when you go, "Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear." I thought that was so funny. It was just it worked so perfectly with what was going on. Oh,
I gotta see it.
so
It's just that's what those Paraka faces make me think of.
yeah. We're also joined by Just Too Good and Brickitect.
Yo.
We will be later in the episode talking spoilers on the Rise of Skywalker, but that will be near the end, and we'll announce that very clearly. So if you haven't seen the movie and you're a little bit worried about that, don't worry about that right now. That's going to be later on near the end, and we will make sure that you know. But also, why are you on the internet if you haven't seen the movie yet and you're expecting not to see spoilers? That's my counterpoint. But yeah, very excited to talk about that for sure. Anyway, I guess we could start with Nick finishing. Like, it feels like your life's work, but it's only, what has it been, like 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
But it's definitely like a somber note to finish up, you know? Like, it's something you've definitely worked hard on for the last couple of years, and you've put a lot of time and effort into every time, and it's just kind of bittersweet to see it more or less go.
And at first, it started out as just this fun little side project. I never expected it to become this huge, life-consuming thing that it has in the last couple of months.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's how a lot of things start. I mean, I would wager to say all of our YouTube channels kind of started that way, just kind of like a side hobby, or just, just because YouTube was cool when you were in elementary school or whatever, and now it's more or less very time-consuming. So I can definitely relate to that. But we do have a lot of people in chat. Just want to acknowledge you guys, but we're not going to be talking with chat the entire time. So maybe later on we'll ask for questions. Do you guys think that's good, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds like the best, yeah.
All right. Anyway, so Nick, I'm sure a lot of people like make YouTube videos, right? And they want to know like what goes into making a YouTube video. And different YouTube videos obviously take like a different level of effort, I guess would be the best word for it to put into them. And within the Lego community, like I think stop motions are probably one, like especially good ones that that take a lot of effort. But I think your videos out of like non-stop motions, of people I know, I can't think of anyone else who puts more research and time into like one single video. So like for like on a very like basic outline from start to finish, how would you have in the past produced like a Lego Rewind?
Oh, well, I mean, you saw how I did it in 2017. If it had been much earlier in my YouTube lifespan, like around 2010, it probably wouldn't have been nearly as good. Like I might have only used a tenth of the images, whether or not I was able to find them.
Right.
Probably long stretches where you just see like one still image and nothing else going on. You just kind of have to take my word for it. But when I started this series, I wanted it to be like your one-stop shop for like all these different Lego themes. Like if you go to the sports episode, I want you to see like everything there is to know about Lego sports. And then I forgot the collectible minifigure series team. But you get the idea. Like any given episode.
Oh, like when the Halloween the Halloween episode where you left out the series 14. That was a classic.
Oh yeah, but in the sports episode, I also forgot the minifigure series wave of like I think it was a German soccer team.
Yeah.
So the point is, none of them are perfect, but I tried to pack in as much as I could, into any given episode. So if you wanted to like learn everything there was to know about it in like 10 minutes, or I guess 20 minutes, or 80 minutes, you could find it all there. And of course, there were a few things here and there that I missed or had to be corrected on, but that's why I'm so glad I had a comment section, that I had a place where viewers could correct me about certain things and just add to the mythos of Lego Rewind.
Yeah, you did like the correctional videos, right? Every once in a while. Are you gonna do like a final one of those, or did you get that in like recently and I just missed it?
That was episode 39.
Okay,
I did the usual 13. You did the usual seasonal format where you've got like 12 normal episodes and then a recap, and then just because I couldn't leave it at 39, I had to round it off and make it a nice even number. I made the Bionicle Rewind as a almost like a movie in itself.
It definitely felt like a movie. I mean, an hour and 20 minutes is not a small feat to just sit down and watch. Like, it's definitely something you have to like go into and be like, I am gonna watch this now, and that's what I'm gonna do for the next 80 minutes.
But I tried to make it concise and breezy enough that it didn't feel like 80 minutes. You know, I tried to make it so it goes by fast.
Fast pacing, exactly. Just like a certain movie that might have just come out. No particular name to that movie.
Teases.
But what are you gonna do now? Like, I know you. I think you were one of the people that was very scared of Kappa, and it's one of the reasons that you kind of like hurried along and finished up like a rewind before the year's end. But like, I don't think that this marks the end of your channel in any way. And from watching your video, you didn't seem to think it would. But
yeah, that's kind of the funny thing, though, is that I have been getting a few comments from people saying, like, so long, Nick, it was fun last time. Like, do you guys not know that I used to make videos before Lego Rewind? And of course, I'm going to stick around and keep making videos afterwards. They'll just be videos about other things.
right.
And I'm not just going to go back to reviewing games or whatever. That seems kind of played out. I'm just going to make videos about whatever I feel like. You know, I'm going to make some essays, story analysis. I'm going to make some videos about Planet Ripple of all things. Basically, like, I'm gonna dress them up so they seem kind of like infomercials from that world. You know, like I'll have one about the merfolk, I'll have one about the pirates, one's about specific characters, and so on. So that'll be a fun way to get people acquainted with my other work. But I'm gonna make, you know, the occasional review of a game or a movie, and yes, I will make the occasional Lego related video, assuming the site lets that fly, showing off my revamps and such. And I'm going to make a video at the end of every year that's kind of like those correctional videos where I look at everything Lego released and give my general thoughts on like
that's
how
what
it
I'm
continues
looking
to
forward.
change.
That's what I'm really looking forward to, is that type of video every year from you, because I think you will do it so well and thoroughly. Like, you'll actually encompass every theme.
I kind of did that with the last episode with 39. You know, after I recapped most of the stuff, I talked a little bit about the upcoming Ninjago sets, how I like the whole Tron video gamey feel of them. I talked a bit about Hidden Side, etc. And people kind of gave me the idea afterwards, like, hey, you know, maybe you could make a video like this, you know, every December, just commenting on the state of things. I'm like, yeah, okay, that wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah. I saw episode 39. I still got to see episode 40 for everybody in the chat. I just got home. It's been a very busy day. But I was also going to say, Nick, I liked your Sonic Mania review. You know, your video game reviews are pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's just some things that have happened in that whole scene that have kind of turned me off. There are still some games that are so special to me that I want to make videos about them, but I'm not going to make a series with a catchy intro and jingle.
Right.
And whatnot. They're just going to be like, this is the video about this thing.
Yeah, I think
of course, what I like with video games is just, you know, I love your use of video game music. Of course, because video game music.
You always use it.
A great way to show appreciation for video games.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of good video game music. I think some video game music is better than most movie music. And I could agree. It's the funny thing is occasionally someone will go like, why all the music from this thing in this episode? And it's like, well, that's Rewind's format. I find something that fits the aesthetic of that episode's themes, and I try to stay within that soundtrack for, you know, just for consistency to create an atmosphere. And then I'll go with another soundtrack in the next video, etc.
See, I could relate to that so much. I really appreciate that, especially seeing some of the some of the Toy Story 2 music popping up.
Yeah,
like, that's
good stuff. the surprise Jack Stone implanted in the recap.
Okay, so you mentioned Jack Stone. I have one question for you out of like your newest Lego Rewind. So you said Bionicle was the first Lego movie, but you said Jack Stone didn't count. Why doesn't Jack Stone count? Or was that a joke?
Well, for one, it wasn't a full movie. It was just a 20-minute series of skits. You know, it's like a collection of 4 tiny episodes, as if they were advertising a Jack Stone TV show.
Okay, that makes more sense. And how long was the Bionicle movie then?
It was about like 75 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I can see there's a difference there. This is definitely a movie versus more of a short So yeah, I
but
just
Justin,
I
I
didn't
don't
know the
know.
background on that when you said it. I was like, well, why? Just because Jack Stone is bad? Like, so,
What were you
Little
gonna say,
column
Nick?
A, little column B. I was just gonna say, Justin, I don't know how familiar you are with this series, but
Mhm.
you might enjoy that. There's quite a lot of Halo music in the latest
Oh,
episode. Yeah, and yeah,
I yeah, I love Halo music, and the first three Halo games I've actually been playing through recently with one of my roommates, so I will appreciate that.
there
The
are
soundtracks of them are
so
fantastic.
many songs that I found good context for.
Mhm.
It is astounding how well they go together, like bananas and Nutella.
Bananas and Nutella, yeah, it's a good comparison. But no, yeah,
Well,
the
it's
the
because they've
sound
got
of,
they've
yeah.
the two series, they have such similar aesthetics, like
Hmm.
this clash of nature and the mechanical and these ancient impossible structures that we're just peeling back the layers of, that kind of
Yeah,
mysticism.
the more you do, yeah, you know what? They do. I've never realized that, but you got a
Well,
good
that's the
point.
funny thing I've learned fairly recently is that apparently there is a lot of overlap between the Bionicle fan base and the Halo fan base. There are a lot of people
that
who like,
seems sensible.
yeah,
Like I can see, like, because it would have been a similar time when, like, let's say Bionicle was popular in the early 2000s and Halo was maybe popular like 2004, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. Or well,
I
early
can see
2000. I
people.
think the first one came out what 2001, so we're literally
they
right in
also
time.
they
Okay,
also did something that I cannot like overstate how profound this was. They gave us this like completely new world. We never seen anything like it. It just begging us to come a little closer, just explore for a bit. You never
Exactly.
know.
hmm.
And
Yeah.
it becomes this huge adventure.
Um, and very lore heavy on both of them. You know.
So, but as much as I enjoyed like making, I mean, look, I don't want to just talk about the last episode this whole time. I want to talk a little bit about like the series in general. But I will
Mhm.
say, this episode kicked my butt. It's not even funny. I spent about a month, just scripting and getting all the materials and recording my voice. Like it took several days for me just to edit the audio together. And then I had to find all the footage, and it got to a point where I'm like, okay, you know what? Come rain or shine or hell or high water, I'm going to make sure I edit at least 10 minutes of this together today. And I just kept going at it for a while, staying up until 2:30 every morning.
Oh,
Yeah, oh man. And by the time I got to today, uh, all I had to do was upload it, and I was just exhausted. I had to like pull myself together just so I could talk somewhat
it's a,
coherently for
it's
this.
it's always a good feeling to finish a big project though. Like
Oh
like hitting
yeah,
that render button and just be like, sometimes I'll dread editing and like that because it just it's like, why do I have to listen to myself say the things I already said? Like it's just like
yeah.
that. I'm just like, I don't want to do it right now. But like you have a project that big and I just can't imagine finishing that and just being like just the stamp of approval, seal of approval, whatever, and just like
At
hit
first,
the
it
render
was
button and
I thought
be
it was At first, I thought it was going to be the kind of thing I only make every 3 or 4 years. Then I realized, no, wait, I've never done something like this. This is like a once in a decade kind of production. Oh no, done. So Lego Rewind in general. Um, yeah, I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I tried to keep it organized and uh, comprehensive and just make it like this little treasure chest where people could easily find everything. Um, I guess I part of it was like a little inspired by the Angry Video Game Nerds side series Board James, where he plays like a different character of sorts,
Hmm.
except instead of video games, he looks at board games. And it's a pretty fun little series, but what I like about it is that he had the sense to like end it at a certain point. He had this little arc going, and then when he decided he'd done enough with it, he just concluded it. And now people
yeah.
just remember it as this great little production. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with Lego Rewind was not drag it out, not pull it through the mud talking about things that don't interest me, that my commentary would suck, um, and just keep it fresh in people's minds. Let them remember it when the times were still
That's
good.
one of the most interesting
Exactly.
things to me about the series is like, you kind of like, I don't know, I feel like you said this a long time ago to me, or like at least said it publicly, that like it was eventually going to end and like there was like, I don't know, 13 more episodes and then you're done. And I'm like, wait, you're just done? And you're like, yeah, I'm done. I'm like, okay. And it's just one of those things, like I guess it does make sense because Lego Rewind would be finite with a finite amount of Lego themes having ever existed, and of course those
and I've
that
covered
are
like 90% of
yeah,
them already.
and especially those that would be enough to make any bit of a video that's interesting, or would be even less than the number that exists. So I definitely understand the need for an end.
So, I mean, we've talked about like Lego Rewind before in other episodes of Bricks and Bits, etc. I think I've said my piece. It's just before I let you guys, add your final comments on that, I just want to say one more thing. I again just want to thank the fans for accompanying me on this little journey and being so supportive. I know I definitely would not have made it that far without them. Not even just, them, not even just their views or subscriptions or whatever, but just their feedback, telling me how much it made their day or how they had rediscovered their childhood or felt closer to another member of their family because they remembered bonding over Legos and such. And just seeing that motivated me. It told me, yes, this is meaningful to people. I am adding something to the wider Lego community. I must see this through. And, so again, it's like a symbiotic relationship. It's a two-way thing. So thank you everybody for providing me the energy and motivation to keep this going as long as I did. It was much longer than I originally thought it'd be, and it's turned out pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's one of the great examples. Like, it's like old school YouTube, because you don't monetize your videos if people don't know that. Where it's just like, it's getting a lot of views, so I want to do more, and like, this is just fun, and like, it's very pure. So I definitely appreciate that aspect of it.
You could see the passion throughout
Exactly.
your work, and that's fantastic.
I was like one of those OG YouTubers. I jumped aboard pretty early on, and of course I was the tiniest of small fries back then. Like I only had 340 subscribers on my original account before a family member accidentally deleted it. But I guess you could say that I really haven't changed my ways all that much in that time. My approach, my aesthetic, I've just streamlined it. I've gotten better with the production values, the scripting, etc. And I'm gonna keep, evolving and carrying that forward. But people who like this, they're gonna get more of it. Again, it's just gonna be about different subject matter.
Yeah. And what you said with like how you've evolved over time, I think I've said this before, but like for people that make YouTube videos, you just want to improve something every time, whether it be like a small thing about your thumbnails, a small thing about the way you title your video, like just improve every time, and eventually you end up with something that's much better, like over time, much better looking than the first one.
I mean, I have to be careful about how I phrase this because I don't want to spoil something for the guys here, just in case they haven't seen like how this episode ends. But if you look back at say, the first episode, Ice Planet, and then you look at this latest one,
Right.
the last few even, and it's like night and day. What a difference a couple years makes. But the old episodes still hold up well enough that they're still enjoyable. People still go back and rewatch those, and they leave comments pretty regularly, and it's just nice to keep hearing back from people, even if they're just discovering it the first time. So, I think I've said my piece. What do you guys want to say before we put a lid on this thing?
What do I want to? Okay, Justin.
I was just going to say, I'm looking forward to seeing the last episode.
Yeah.
It's a shame I couldn't have seen it before because I would have had a whole list of questions like, what'd you do this, that, but...
I'm just going to say now it is the best video I've ever made. I might never
Awesome.
be able to top this one.
The hype is real.
I know. Oh, my.
It's movie night, Craig.
Yep.
Just tell
Get
us
your popcorn,
tell
hour
us
and 20
Brick
minutes.
Attack. You're going to watch a movie, and it's a Bionicle documentary.
Get some Hot Pockets,
with your
some pizza rolls.
you and Clark's special appearance.
Well, with how little I know about Bionicle past the classic years, I'm going to learn a lot, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yes.
The new you're talking about
Do your research.
G2,
What was that?
like G2 Bionicle,
He
or
was
just
only
like
around
even
for,
outside
the
of like
first-
2004.
I'm thinking the last one I got was they were the little ball. They were the ones you could make into balls, like
the Bo Rock.
Yes, that's it. So that was like what 2002, 2003.
Yeah, I mean, to
Yeah.
give you an idea of like the writing of this episode, I tried to break it all down with a very human rationale. I stripped away a lot of the mysticism and said things like, "Yeah, those ball things were like a different type of blood cell. They're part of the same overall system, part of the sleep cycle." Trying to make it easier for people to understand.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
even me, who is very invested in Lego, but not like particularly a huge Bionicle fan, like a lot of it was still way over my head. So I mean, if you don't have like a basic knowledge of Bionicle, I think you'll still like, as good as the video is, as much as I enjoyed it, I still didn't comprehend a lot of it per se because I just don't know the story at all. So
I understand, but I tried to simplify it as much as I could.
I also I recognize that.
I know when I'm writing some videos that cover like, historical, if it's a list or whatever, sometimes I have that problem where I got to step out and I'm like, well, would the everyday person who doesn't get this theme understand it? So I could relate to that.
Yeah, you can definitely
in a
get
way.
stuck in that rut where it's like, this is common knowledge to me, so everybody should know it, and then you say something and nobody understands. It's like, well, that didn't pan out very well. So,
but I mean, I used to be ashamed of using like, the language of, because I guess my everyday language isn't the most academic. I make many grammatical mistakes, but then I'm starting to realize like, hey, I think that's why a lot of people like my content, where I could just kind of talk almost like a teenager or whatever, and that's just an easy way to get the point across. So that's just some way I look at it sometimes with writing. But
well, rest in peace, Lego Rewind. It was a good 3 years, and I look forward to the 2020 recap video.
Just one thing I want to ask to the last member here, Brickitect. I noticed, like, what do you? Sorry, I feel like such an egotist asking this. I was just wondering what you thought of Rewind, just in a general sense, just this little journey, and so on.
In general, I think it's an awesome thing for you to do that. And I think it's a great resource, not only for people that follow you now, but for the future, assuming that you're leaving the videos up. It's going to be great for people that want to get educated on this. And you do such a good job at it. I think it's a fantastic resource for people. And I'm really happy that you put the effort that you do into this and staying up late every day and into the morning hours to sacrifice for this. I'm sure, just like everyone else, I'm sad that it's coming to an end, but obviously, like, where can you go after you've covered everything you're interested in? So
right.
Yeah.
I think it's something you should be very proud of.
I like the word resource there, because I think a lot of people, like in the future, like, and even now, you can go on if you want to learn about a certain Lego theme, then that would be the place to go, I suppose.
Jeez, I just had the stupidest thought. Like, years and years from now, after human society has collapsed, some future archaeologists, they dig up these like hard drives, and one of them is all the Lego Rewind episodes, and they're trying to like figure out the language, but they just see the commercials and go like, these were their gods.
There's your next
they made
comic.
These with these idols and worshipped them. They were a huge part of their lives.
I just thank you, Card Collector, for the $2 donation. Says Merry Xmas or Merry Christmas, buddy, to you and your Star Wars Lego crew. So thank you very much, Card Collector. We appreciate it.
All right, Ryan. Yeah, I get a cut of that, right?
Of course, it all
100%.
All goes the same thing.
Google takes $1, you take 25 cents.
And look, there's no need to like say goodbye or anything, because Lego Rewind itself might be done, but I'll still make a Lego related thing now and then. It just depends on when the mood strikes me.
You're still gonna have that passion for Lego even beyond the series, right? You're not giving up Lego. Yeah.
It's just gonna be a matter of what do I feel like doing today? I don't know. I'll make a quick video about this thing. We'll just see how it goes.
The ultimate freedom. It's the beauty of YouTube.
Exactly.
Oh, for now.
Yeah.
So did any of you guys see the new Lego Star Wars video game trailer?
I saw that they spoke, and that was it.
They spoke. They speak.
Yeah.
Well, I know they speak in the trailer, but I thought the rumor was that there would be the option to have them not speak, so I don't think that kind of rules that out.
That's the thing with that rumor. Like, I don't know if that's going to be a thing, because that would mean they would have to rewrite every scene to make sense without dialogue and have a joke without dialogue. So I think that would be a lot of extra work. I don't know if they would do that, because they made a response and they were like, oh, we're looking into it for the future, but I don't think that means with this game. maybe they'll see the reception of this, and if it really is demanded and people don't buy this game because it doesn't have, it has speaking,
Yeah.
then I think they would have the option.
I don't think people
just,
are not going to buy it because the characters talk. I don't think that's going to happen. But
exactly. So I don't think I don't think they're going to make the option or anything in the future because it would just be too much extra work.
Right.
I am stunned by the game's feel, just how it looks in general. Like I remember when they first released footage from the Force Awakens game, I was already impressed by the fidelity and just how sharp the characters looked and the environmental effects. But this just blows it out of the water. I'm just looking at the cinematography, the camera work here. It's kind of stunning, like the fabric and the characters' capes and such.
Yeah,
it's just night and day. Like looking back at the original Lego Star Wars game that started like all these new Star Wars games, the all the tropes of that gameplay everybody knows them for now, and it's just crazy looking at what a different beast it's become. I'm kind of hyped for this game. I might actually get it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really played a Lego Star Wars game since like maybe 2007 or 8. Like I bought The Force Awakens. I didn't play the Clone Wars, and I only played like 4 levels of The Force Awakens, and then I couldn't figure out how to get past it, and I was like, I'm done, and I never played it again. So I'm gonna buy this game. I'm gonna try my best, but every Lego game I played the last few years, I've gotten like 3 levels in and then kind of quit. Lego Movie 2, Superheroes, and Force Awakens. So as much as I love Lego Star Wars and I know I should totally be invested in this, I can't guarantee myself that I'd play it because I have a history of not playing it.
I think the proper mindset to walk into this one is this is the ultimate Lego Star Wars game. Let's not expect it to get any bigger, any cleaner than this. We just kind of have to empty our minds of every other Lego game we've ever played and just pretend that this is the ultimate.
Well, it still surprises me because like even with when the Force Awakens one was revealed, there was a step up in that graphics where I felt like but at the end of the day, I wasn't really drawn into it, and I'm still not drawn into this one yet. I actually have memories with the first Lego Star Wars game. I had a lot of fun with that, but I'm surprised that they made this game exist because it is awesome that it has all 9 movies. And a couple years back, they made a game that just had that one movie, The Force Awakens, and a little bit of 6, but yeah.
I think my favorite shot from the new trailer is where they recreate the scene where Rey jumps over the TIE silencer. Just because there's so much going on that I love. I love how instead of just normal dust, you see studs of various, dirty colors being kicked up in this wake. That's a good touch. I like when they integrate Lego more into the setting like that. But even then, it's just fun seeing what they can get away with these builds in the game, where like they recreate the lines on the solar panels with like these tiles that might just be attached by one stud, where you would not get away with that.
Is
in
that
an
an
official
illegal
Lego
building
set.
technique?
Yeah, apparently, or at least it's something Lego just doesn't do, but they can get away with it in these games.
Because I was looking at this and I thought there's a very good chance this is going to become a set. I wouldn't be shocked if it does, like this actual model in game. It
just seems like
it's very polished.
It seems like they do get away with a few things here and there that they wouldn't put into actual sets.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they don't, but I also think part of it is that they build and model everything in the game to be able to be made into actual sets if they want to, or if people want to build them type of thing.
Right.
So,
did you speaking of just Lego Star Wars promotional material, I wasn't aware of this one commercial, but did you guys see that commercial they had recently of Lego Star Wars? Just not like the video game, but just the theme.
Do you have a link?
I'm trying to find it actually right now.
Is it
like I saw in the movie theater, and I was like, I mean, it was it was kind of maybe that nostalgia pandering people might say, but I was like, that was actually kind of a neat commercial. Let me see if I can find it because I saw it in the theater when I saw the movie.
Is it Lego Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker commercial 2019?
Well, I'm not sure because it was just focused more on just like Lego Star Wars. It was on like some other Lego Star Wars commercial I've seen before, where it just focused not on specific sets. It wasn't like the classic commercials we'd see or whatever, or Zach the Lego Maniac. But it was just about like Lego Star Wars as a theme and what it meant to people, and I was like, that's kind of a cool little commercial. I don't know. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it right now, but
I gotta go to the movie theaters a lot until I see that.
I'll do a little look. I
just want to see that commercial now. I want to know. I don't watch TV, so I don't see commercials on there.
While he's looking for that commercial, for anybody who didn't see like the last episode of Rewind, 39. I was notified by fans that Zach the Lego Maniac and Jack the Lego Maniac were not two separate characters.
I saw that.
They changed the name because some competitor, some knockoff company, started peddling Zach's. I didn't even know that. So they changed the name to prevent market confusion.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I love learning about just weird stuff like that.
We got a donation from Sir Bricktolot. He donated $10. Thank you, dude. He said Patriots will not make the Super Bowl this year. If they do though, please feel free to call me out on it. Keep up the great work, guys. Well, you'll be getting a call in about a month and a half, and actually about a month. And thank you very much, though.
Dude, yes.
Did everyone here watch The Mandalorian, the newest ones?
I actually didn't. I actually did not see episode 7. I was going to yesterday.
It's been out for like 4 days.
I know. Well, I watched it with some people, and we hung out yesterday, but then we ended up playing Jackbox too long. So that's what happened.
Greg, you watch it?
Nope.
Oh my god. Well, Nick and I know something you don't, and we're gonna leave it at that.
Oh no! So there is something big that happened.
Something happens in every
Baby Yoda
episode.
died.
Yes.
Oh no!
They killed him early.
No. Baby Yoda didn't die. He's fine. It's just he does something that kind of foreshadows.
All right. No
Stop right there. That's too far.
No spoilies.
Okay. Speaking of death, Lego Forma is dead. Lego Forma is not coming back. Apparently.
Where'd you hear this? Wait.
It was like officially announced. Yeah. There's a article.
What?
Where did it? Forma release probably. It was on the Lego Forma here, Indiegogo. Let's see.
Yeah, they sent me an email about it.
There you go. Yeah. Forma,
They're like, it was a big success, but we're not doing it again.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It
We
does
learned a lot.
Yeah, which is weird too, because I think BFABs had found it the other day on like a European Lego, like EuropeanLego.com or whatever, and they had listed it there, and I was like, oh, so it's coming back, and I should probably sell mine. And then all of a sudden there was this, and it was gone like 2 days later. So
I'm curious. I want to see this article. Let me see.
I pasted it in the thing.
Oh, you placed it in the thing? Okay. I don't know why. I'm looking at the chat, and I'm like, why am I looking at the chat?
Sorry.
Forma was
I'm
like
a little
most
conflicted.
overrated thing.
It's on the.
I know.
Go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm a little conflicted. I know some people look at these things and go, "What the heck is this? This is a waste of Lego's time." But look, as someone who grew up with you know what and some other things and like the Technic competition line, etc.
Yeah.
I love Technic builds that are lifelike, where like you push a knob and they just spring to life and they thrash around or bite or something like that. So immediately, I liked these things. It's like, oh, it's like a Technic fish and it actually swims.
Yeah, I don't think Form was
Although
bad idea. I just don't know if there's much of a market for it, and I think that's what they determined.
Yeah.
Even though it did sell out, there probably isn't much of a market outside of the hardcore fans that bought it because it was going to be rare.
Let's petition for Nick to do Lego Forma, Lego Rewind.
That's right.
It'll be a
look,
3-minute
I
video.
honestly-
Nice and easy to edit. And
One
I
second.
would prefer if they used like Lego slopes or Technic panels or whatever to to create the shape of the fish to make it lifelike. The whole papercraft thing, like, okay, yeah, all right. If someone's into papercraft, they're gonna like that. But what if they're not into the Technic building aspect of it? What if they decide that's like too hard or time consuming or
Yeah.
what?
Well, to me, it wasn't.
Go ahead, Justin.
It wasn't. Yeah, sorry. It wasn't it wasn't the Technic build part that turned me off from buying this. It was the papercraft part and the price, where it felt pretty overpriced. And also, again, papercraft is a cool thing, but yeah, I would have preferred if they used some panels or something like that. Would have got me more into a Lego Forma, and I think that would have got a lot of other people into Lego Forma. But you could see with this, and also with the wooden minifigure, Lego is trying to expand upon just the bricks. Even with app integration inside and the troll sets using felt pieces. So this is just something they're definitely experimenting with recently. And I guess
do think we should give them room to experiment like that.
Exactly.
The wooden figure kind of flew over my head because I honestly thought that was like a reference to their older toys. You know, back when they made wooden toys, that was just kind of a throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psych.
I don't know. I thought it was going to be a throwback, but in a way, I thought they were going to just remake. When I first heard rumors of this, I thought they were going to remake the little pool duck toy, and I think I would have been more inclined to get the little.
I wouldn't be
pool
surprised
duck
if
toy.
it happens again. Like if they do another one and it's that, but
again, it needs to be much cheaper.
it's so expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Even with this one, like I said, I wish it was a smaller version, like maybe a 1-to-1 scale minifigure, just wooden, and make it like 30 to 40, and I would have bought it.
Right.
But I don't know.
Frankie, thank you for the £2. He says, I'm rebuilding my 2011 Millennium Falcon. Any tips? I mean, we'll go around the panel here, but I would say try to put the pieces together and don't let them fall apart. Just pro tip. That's what I usually do.
Tip.
You guys have to give a different tip. Can't copy mine.
Sort by color could work.
It's all gray. It's Star Wars, remember?
Well, knowing them, there's probably a billion Technic pins in different colors. You know?
Yeah, it's true. Definitely true. Greg, any tips for rebuilding sets?
Nope.
That should be more of a just to mom question. She loves rebuilding Lego sets.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like building a Lego set. I don't know what tips you need to rebuild a Lego set, but hopefully you.
Well, it's hard to keep
complete
track of everything without the numbered bags and if it's an old.
Today's generation is so. Oh my god.
I guess if anything, just sort everything out by color. That's one way to get started, and then just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
At least that way, when you're searching through like a 1,000-piece set, you have it narrowed down slightly.
I did it for the Star Destroyer. I actually sorted every part like individually, like to
That's
what part
incredible.
it was for the 2002 Star Destroyer. So
yeah. I guess if you're doing a Star Wars set, like you said, it's like gray, light gray, dark gray.
Yeah.
I just noticed my hair looks terrible in that shot.
Well, the video's up now. It's too late. So
we can't Photoshop it now.
But I grew it myself. You know, I have no one to blame but me.
Use some gel or something. Just a different combing technique, perhaps. Could do something, I guess.
Really, that was just an excuse for me to use the grew it myself zinger.
Oh, okay. That's I get it. Very funny. So, Lego movies from Warner Bros. I guess are done. Like that's a thing. Apparently, like they're just not going to make any more. But apparently, Universal wants to make Lego movies, and they're trying to, I guess, get Lego to let them do that. So, does Universal own Harry Potter, or does Warner Bros. Own Harry?
Warner Bros.
Oh,
and also
I got
the key one is
Universal has the theme park
Lego
for it.
Batman is a Warner Bros. Property. So if they continue this, I feel like what they would do is, do you guys know about the Billion Brick Race movie?
No, I've heard of that, but I've never watched it.
Well, basically, it never released, but it's a movie they've been planning since around the time the first Lego movie had its success, and it was going to be a Lego movie that's almost like Wacky Racers of all these different Lego themes coming together to have a big race. What I think Universal would do would be to make that, and it's so different from the other Lego movies, it could almost be like a reboot, and you wouldn't need to have Emmett or all these other characters who might be. Batman's owned by Warner Bros. So they wouldn't need to have Batman or whatever. And it would be a fresh take, and they could probably do it a couple of years from now so people won't have that taste of the last Lego movie or whatever that made it not a success.
Something that I have found slightly annoying about like a ton of Lego media now is that they had to give it a core cast with like Batman and Gandalf. And I'm like, no, just let me focus on, I don't know, I would like to see something that's like its own thing. It doesn't have to all be like one series.
Exactly. And I think they would probably do that with the Billion Brick Race and just have its own story, have these different builds that might not be capitalizing on licenses and everything, but just, maybe there's a pirate guy or whatever, stuff like that. Almost like the original Lego movie, how they had these.
Well, that was the fun of the Lego Racers games, was that you had like racers from all these different themes. So, if they did make such a movie, you could have a pirate-themed guy. I mean, it could be Metalbeard for all I care. You could have a space-themed guy like an alien. You could have, like any number of tropes, like each represented by a different racer, and just have this crazy film.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. We'll see. But
or Lego Shrek.
Okay.
The movie.
You went too far.
Can that happen? Universal owns Shrek, right?
I slipped a meme into the
Freaking, like-
Ninjago rewind, the Ninja rewind, where I showed for just like half a second this photo bash of Shrek and Lloyd. It was Lloyd with Shrek's face.
I didn't catch that one. I saw that one. I
It was
didn't catch it.
basically a stray frame. I call him Shroid.
Shroid. Perfect.
But we'll see.
But you know the big thing. Oh,
Oh,
wait.
go
So
ahead.
one more thing.
What's the big thing?
Before I forget, they own Jurassic Park. So
Oh, Greg said he liked the TV show, right?
exactly. So that
That's
could
good.
be if they do want to do the licensing, which I don't know if that would be the best idea. A Lego Jurassic World movie could actually be kind of a success. You know.
Yeah, I don't see that
Yeah.
being a bad thing because I don't know. Greg, how many episodes of that TV show are there?
I want to say there was 2 or 3,
Oh, that's it.
and they ran them all back to back. Yeah, but it was good.
But there's I'm sure there's going to be more because at least Brickset lists more 2020 Jurassic World sets, and there's no movie coming out this year. We don't have the names of them or anything, so I'm sure they'll probably make another either another series or just add more episodes.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kids
you
love
know,
dinos. Everybody loves dinos.
Something I wouldn't mind them doing. Okay, you know that Lego City Undercover game.
Mhm.
That was a pretty fun homage to cop films. But then they've got this Lego City series that they just released this year, and I haven't seen much of it. I've only seen a couple episodes, but what I did see was gut busting. Some of the funniest stuff Lego's ever done. It's not even their usual sense of humor. It is like it's straight up Naked Gun, airplane, that kind of humor. And I would love to see a Lego movie that's just that.
A Lego City movie?
No,
Well,
more like a parody-esque movie of like.
I just mean that style of comedy.
Mhm. That could work. And Lego City, if they even wanted to capitalize on Lego City, I mean, that is probably that and Ninjago are their biggest original properties, So at the moment, at least.
Right.
I saw how the Ninjago movie did.
That's true. They would, I think, but going forward, even if they don't do the Jurassic Park or World idea, I think it would be something more like the Billion Brick Race. So it could just be like Cops Undercover. That would be the name of it, but it would just be a Lego movie. Like they wouldn't probably even use Lego in the title, And I think that's a strategy because of the burnout of the recent Lego movies to not use Lego in the title. You could get some more people in who were probably turned off by
They would still need to stamp their brand on it somewhere to prevent copycats from mooching off of it.
That's true. It could be maybe like Cop, a Lego movie, instead of a Star Wars story or whatever. But then again, like I said, the Billion Brick Race didn't have Lego in the title. Wasn't going to have Lego in the title, but it never took off. So who knows?
Huh. I want more Lego movies, but I guess they should take a few years off because they did 4 and 5 years or something. Like there were a lot, and I just find it a little bit crazier than to be like, all right, we're done. Like that's it. So I hope Universal gets whatever contract they want or some middle ground for Lego and Universal, and then there's more movies, which means more movie sets. And
it is impressive though, just some of the set pieces they were able to make in those movies. So much of the scenery is like. If someone were to make an actual mock of some of those builds, it would eat up their entire room.
Yeah.
Maybe their house.
Yeah. True.
All right. So, big topic. Greg.
Yes.
The beans have been spilled. What did you buy?
A house.
Oh, so now you have 2.
Yeah, I now have 2 houses. Well, I own one, and the bank owns the other one.
So you have 1 house.
You don't own a house if you're making payments on it.
Fair
because
enough.
not making those payments, you don't own the house anymore. So, yeah, we've been looking for a long time, for like 2 years, to find a house in our area. And,
this territory is expanding. So drive him back.
Yeah, we were looking to upgrade, and we've been looking forever, and we found what I think is like the perfect place for us. So we pulled the trigger on it, demonetized.
God dang it! Oh my God.
Got him. So yeah, we are January, which is a great time to take some time off of YouTube. We're going to be making the move and kind of taking our time with it, and then selling this house, and I'll have a new Brickitect studio very soon.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting to watch the whole move. I remember when I moved, it was kind of fun to chronicle my journey. I bet, I didn't do it very well, so I bet you'll do it better than I did. So I'm interested to see, that. And, of course, now people will be like, Greg, how do you move Lego? How do you do this?
Dude, when we moved here 4 years ago, I had my entire Lego collection fit in 2 moving boxes.
Do you
It was
have,
like just
you have like pictures of that? Because if you had a picture of that, that would be such a great
there's
comparison
probably
to me.
videos from around then. Like if you go back far enough, you can see what my collection was. Like everything fit on like one shelf that was like maybe like 3 feet wide. It was just like a shelf. And then obviously over the last 2 years, it's gotten out of hand, especially saving all these boxes, which I'm going to regret now because every box that I saved is a box that I have to move now.
Right. How far away do you have to go? Like how?
It's not far. It's probably like a 25-minute drive.
Oh.
So I'm just going to start boxing things. And I don't know if we're going to like move some things on our own, but then have like movers come in to do like the heavy stuff. Or we're just going to box everything and have them do it all. I don't know.
Right.
We got time. Like being that we still own this home, it's like I can kind of take my time with this and figure out what I want to do.
So how much more space do you get now? Like
I think my studio is like it's between like 500 and 600 square feet, which is pretty decent. And then I have like 150 square feet like storage area that's off of that. So it should be pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. I'm really looking forward to whatever finished product you get out of that. Maybe you can be episode 2 of my new series. I'll have to tell you later. Extreme Lego Room Makeover.
Are you gonna do the Beyond the Brick and come over and interview me in my new studio and do all this stuff?
No, I help you set up your new. It's Extreme Lego Room Makeover.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm episode 1, right?
No, I'm episode 1.
Oh,
I get to be my own
pilot.
pilot.
Episode 3, please.
All right. We'll see. That's
Can you put a link to my channel in the description of your video when you make it? And then
Bit.ly link and we got a deal.
Please. And you can pay me like $5 in Dunkin' Donuts coupons or something like that.
I'll buy you pizza.
There we go. What a deal.
I get 3 slices though, all right?
Actually, I think just for the notoriety of being on your channel would be enough payment alone.
You should be paying me.
I should be paying you for it, actually.
Yeah, how the turntables.
That seems to be the business model of how it works. So
yes, no, but that's really awesome. I'm really looking forward to whatever comes of this for your channel and your space, because I'm sure it'll be. I like the idea because with my room, like I'm kind of confined, right? Like I can't do too much space wise and like change things around. But like I think it's gonna be really nice for you to have something that just looks completely different to work with, and that's gonna be really fun for you because like
it's gonna be interesting.
I just like
for
changing
sure.
it every once in a while, and I don't have that ability.
The only bad thing about it is like the whole house is like done up exactly the way we want it, which is one of the selling points.
Right.
But the basement, which is where this space is like the place that it was like the kids' playroom basically. So the carpeting is like blue, and I'm not totally down with that, but I don't know. I'm probably gonna change that. And there's a bar. So I was thinking to avoid the whole COPPA thing, I'm gonna start every video. We'll have some alcohol in the shot, and we'll start it up over there.
No way.
So the bar,
like a bar, or like
it's small. It's like a bar. You could probably fit 3 stools in front of it, and there's a refrigerator and a sink and all that.
It's one of those the islands.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it has like a light hanging down. And
are you gonna keep that in there and like use it as intended for like eating and stuff, or are you gonna like remove it? Or
I'm gonna keep it there. I was thinking about doing live streams and stuff over there. I thought it'd be a fun little spot to have some streams.
Yeah.
My little island is just used for like napkin holder. I should make a full bar display.
I'll probably just put Lego sets on mine. I don't drink or anything, so it's like.
Oh man.
Yeah, put some UCS. Put a few big ones on there, and that'll look pretty clean, I think.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I can finally build the UCS Millennium Falcon on that and just leave it there.
Could. Yeah, I would assume you'd have a new space in your new mansion. So.
Yeah. Well, it's not a mansion.
Okay.
I wish. We're not doing that well, but we've been saving up for a long time and been waiting for this, so it's a cool thing. And I'm definitely like I'm painting down there and doing all this stuff, so I'll probably bring everybody along with me on the process. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. So January, right when
Yeah, I feel like it's the perfect time to do it. So
yeah,
I might be disappearing slightly in some ways, but reappearing in other ways.
Right. What were you saying, Nick?
Before we move on to the final and probably the biggest topic, I just want to note 2 tiny things about Lego Rewind before I forget.
Okay.
One, it is so surreal and kind of cathartic that today I was able to go back to the Lego Rewind playlist and change it from Lego Rewind episodes to Lego Rewind the complete series. Sounds like something to put on a DVD.
That's awesome.
You should get it. That would be really cool for you to just have a DVD of it. That would be
It's just with that, like, can you legally do it? You know, because
I don't know if I mentioned this already, but at least one of my fans has burned all the episodes onto a DVD for them to view at their leisure.
Okay. Must be legal. I mean, I can't imagine it'd be illegal if it's just for personal use, Justin. Like, it's your own.
I thought you were saying like to get it and.
Just, no, I was just saying for like to have for himself and like.
Oh yeah, no, go.
Yeah.
Now the other thing I wanted to mention, you know, that so there were two things. It seems like almost every episode, you know, I get comments from people saying that they now, you know, they're ready to go on a spree, and they go to sites like eBay and Bricklink to find the things they saw in that episode that they suddenly like were overcome with nostalgia for. And this whole time I've been like, oh, I don't know if I can be trusted to wield this power responsibly. But oh man, today, like between the sheer nostalgia overload of this last episode and it being the Christmas season, I half expect like all the remaining Bionicle sets on the internet to disappear.
As much as I enjoyed your video, it didn't make me want to buy any Bionicle sets.
Oh no, I'm talking about people who are nostalgic for it, or may have forgotten about it.
Honestly, you're probably gonna make me buy some.
Oof.
Oh man, I've been meaning to rebuy some of those classics. My father, he gave it out to like some kid in the neighborhood, which is nice, but then they didn't want it, so they gave it back, and then it came old. So sad.
Huh. All right, so I expect a large drop in viewership, but so be it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Spoiler alert. We're going to talk about the Rise of Skywalker. We've all seen it.
Be mindful of your friend Palpatine and your pal, friend Patine.
Yes. I don't know why, like I said earlier, I don't know why you're on the internet if you haven't seen the movie, but here we go. So, episode 9, talk. Where to start? Where to start? Let's start at the beginning of the movie. The beginning of the movie, I was just sitting there with my mouth wide open, like just childlike wonderment as Kylo Ren flies towards what's the I forgot the name of the planet. Let me look at my visual. Exegol. Okay, yeah. And it's just one of the most really good looking, evil looking like places in Star Wars. I felt like as he goes down the elevator thing to Palpatine, and there's these giant statues of, I would assume, like Sith past or something.
It was a proper Sith temple.
It was amazing. Like, I really enjoyed the opening to it. Like, I thought that was really fun. And it never slowed down, which was also kind of cool. Very few slow moments compared to episode 8, especially, which is what I think a lot of people will compare this movie to because it's kind of the hot topic.
I will say, like, overall, I did really like it, but I am conflicted because as someone who defends The Last Jedi and respects most of the creative decisions made in it, it did kind of bug me how this movie kind of backpedals a lot of that and seemingly apologizes for it. Like, in The Last Jedi, you know, Luke tosses a lightsaber away because it has a lot of bad memories for him. But then this movie is like, no, actually, a Jedi's weapon does deserve respect. You know, it's saying, like, actually, yeah, X-Wings and Y-Wings and all this stuff is really important, and we should enshrine these things forever. And, I don't know, it just seems to, like again, they were kind of backpedaling the some of the messages of the last film.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's been, like, the story of this whole series. It's like 7 does some things, and 8's like, Snoke, let's cut him in half. And then it's like, let's bring in Rose. And then 9's like, who's Rose? You know?
And I think that's the problem with having the two different directors. Writers. Yeah.
Kelly Marie Tran was robbed. Oh, my word. I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, they you know, it's like in episode 3 when they wrote Jar Jar out because of fan reaction, and I liked Rose last movie. I just thought the plot line that they used with her was you know, wasn't, I guess it was kind of cheesy, I guess. Yeah.
The thing that bugged me the most, and I've accepted it, it's just that it is the kind of thing that makes me wonder, you know, what could have been. Finding out that Rey was, spoiler alert, a Palpatine. Because I liked The Last Jedi saying that she was a nobody, that just this random stranger could rise to greatness, that basically anybody could be a Rey, potentially. Like that last shot where we see the little boy pulling the Force broom over to himself, that's one of the most true to Star Wars images I've ever seen, because it says we're about to see a lot of people like Rey popping up. And then they didn't go in that direction. And it's saying like, no, actually, Rey is the special, and this is a story about bloodlines and magic parasites and your midichlorian level and force sensitive babies being abducted and stuff like that. I don't know.
It was
Oh, sorry.
definitely like the trilogy as a whole, because of the way it had its directors and stuff, was definitely messy, which kind of sucks. Like, as I was watching episode 9, the whole time I'm sitting there watching and enjoying it, I was just like, why couldn't episode 8 have been better or led into this better? More so, like, it just had less connections than you would.
I think if they had just gone one direction, even if it's the wrong direction, at least you're going somewhere with it.
Yeah, we've just been through a 5-year game of tug of war.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good.
But the thing is, I look at like the way the Force was in the older movies. You know, like before Lucas even planned for Vader to be Luke's father. Oh, there's another spoiler. The Force was just something that you had to believe in. Han was a skeptic, so he couldn't feel it. Luke started believing it very quickly and saw immediate results. But then, you know, they did make it about bloodlines and your midichlorian count, and they basically made the Force a video game power-up. And now you get like all these cool new powers like force healing and this like force warping, you know, these connections. And I love that. Those are my favorite parts of the movie, was seeing the Force like evolve itself through these people as its vessels. So to see it be the flexible, organic thing that Yoda talked about in The Empire Strikes Back. But people are so used to this like rigid set of rules that other recent Star Wars media, including the prequels, has taught us, that they're like, oh, this doesn't make sense because they didn't explain it in earlier media or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, look, okay, I'm here, you know, let me do this. Give the raw thought. Okay.
Yep, it's your turn.
All right, it's my turn. Okay, I thought it was all right. I thought there was a lot of stupid parts, but I've always seen Star Wars as having some kind of stupid parts, which is okay. That's part of the charm with what I like about the original trilogy is there's a lot of cheesy, kind of corny parts, melodrama. I like that. But I just feel like my main problem with this is, again, the problem that a lot of you guys had, where they backpedaled on so much stuff they did in The Last Jedi. And to me, when you do that, it just kind of comes off as pandering in a way where you're like, okay, we got to get those old fans back. So let's, you know, take back a lot of the risks we took in The Last Jedi. And that was something I really liked about The Last Jedi, was that they took risks. It felt like they were doing some original ideas. This one, while I liked it as a whole, I enjoyed it, I had fun, it felt like they were just doing more of the same, and they kind of avoided risks. For example, Chewbacca dies. Oh, wait, no, he's alive. C-3PO gets his mind wiped. Oh, wait, no, he gets it back.
The Chewbacca dying part was probably my least favorite part, not because I didn't like how they did it in the movie, but more so the reaction of the theater I was in, because nobody apparently noticed that there were 2 transports, and then when they showed Chewbacca alive later on, everyone's like clapping and cheering, and I'm like, are you all dumb?
Look, here's the thing.
It was kind of annoying.
I know, but it's the point that, okay, they act like, okay, he's dead and it comes back. Not that they didn't show it or whatever. And it felt,
to me, it was
there
obvious
was so many of that where, again, that what they say in The Last Jedi, where they do have, okay, like, there is no chosen one. It could be any one of us. And then they tie into bloodlines again. It feels like they had no guts. And I don't like that. I like it when movies take risks and do some weird things and do something new.
Well, what they did essentially was they caved, you know, to all the people who who just couldn't accept that Rey just is strong. They needed some kind of corny, pulpy, sci-fi explanation for it, and well, now they got it, and I hope they're happy that like all the magic was sucked out of what could have been a really compelling story. But oh well. And look, I must emphasize, I did like The Last Jedi. I still like this trilogy overall, as much tugging back and forth as there was. By the way, someone noted in the chat that Nick should have narrated the whole story.
But yeah, I think The Last Jedi is my favorite of the 3 because it felt the most different. It had the most interesting, fresh ideas, in my opinion, and I like that. This one, it felt very safe. Again, if they stuck with the Palpatine stuff from Force Awakens and they continued that to The Last Jedi, maybe I would have liked this movie more and it wouldn't have felt like they were backpedaling, because it does make sense for her to be related to Palpatine in some ways. She has that accent. She has all these strong powers. But then they showed a good reason why she's not in The Last Jedi, and I like that. But then they go back on it, and it's like, do you guys have no guts? Are you just pandering at this point?
It's
I
like
like
this
that.
emotional whiplash. Like, oh, I just accepted this thing, and now I don't know how to feel again. Like, if you watch all three of these movies back to back to back, like in the same day, or consecutively, that's gonna be a weird trip through your headspace.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to say, like, it's also kind of undercut by The Force Awakens because, look, the concept of like the technology getting small enough and efficient enough that you can have Death Star level lasers on an entire fleet of ships just blow up all the planets at once. That's pretty darn scary and cool. But we had Starkiller Base a couple of movies ago. If we
Yeah.
hadn't had that, then yeah, this might be a neat like homage, but we've seen planet destroying lasers so many times already that even though I might still think it's cool and it does land for me, I understand why it doesn't for many people.
And it's like, again, we see it so many times. We see anything related to the Death Star, we see it so many times. Like, there was Star Killer Base was essentially the Death Star in Force Awakens. They go back to the Death Star here. They do the Death Star in the episode 6. They do the Death Star in episode 4, and it's just like, I want something fresh because I do like these new characters. I don't think they did much with Finn in this movie, which I liked Finn. I love the idea that this is an ex-stormtrooper. Like, that's such a cool idea, and they don't really explore that in this or The Last Jedi. They have like one moment where he connects with that other girl who was a cool character, but they do nothing with her.
I feel weird about like Finn because he's caught in the middle of like a love octagon because he's clearly pining for Rey, but he's also got a thing with Poe going on, and Rose.
That was in The
still
Force
a potential
Awakens. I was like, I think that's going to be like the major
but
gay
then
character. Like that could go that way.
But then there's also Rose, and it's like he's being pulled between at least 3 people now, and they don't
And
even.
now that people are
settle
saying
for
that
one
him
at the
and
end.
Donna could have been something because they had some tension in the movie. It's like, but they literally do none of it. They don't.
I
even
think
go
they
with
just
any
brought
of
the
it.
women in just to prove that Finn and Poe aren't together, basically.
Maybe.
They're like, wait a
I
minute,
don't
we gotta
know.
break this up.
Okay, so
bit.
I do want to say that it's not that I'm not like against gay people, but I liked that they showed Poe with a girl for whatever reason, like because he's kind of to me like Han Solo, like very masculine, like gunner boy, like kind of like how Han Solo would be with Leia in the original trilogy. Like I kind of liked that they kind of did that with Poe and Zori Bliss.
Well, you know what that means. Like, even if like he and Finn do have this like unspoken thing going on that they're just having trouble sorting out. Well, that would just mean that Poe is bi. Actually, I mean they both are.
Yeah,
that was the thing. In The Force
too.
Awakens, it felt like that was the only time it felt like it could actually evolve into anything romantic. But after that, I kind of felt like it's a bromance. That's okay.
I don't even remember noticing that in episode 7. I'll have to rewatch it.
Episode 7, there's just one moment. I think it's just one moment that he does something. Like I think it was like a tap to the sweater. They could do that, and it would make sense.
Yeah.
But one thing though, earlier on, I think Ryan, you said this, that since they had different directors, the plan in a way was messed up. I guess that was the point you were trying to make.
You know what's funny though? Yeah. This actually makes the Rose kiss scene from the last movie even more awkward because
I hated that so much. I hated it so much. It was so
if they double again, they could have made him and Rose have a romance in this movie, and it would have made sense. But
it just makes that moment so priceless because now you look at Finn's face and he's even more like. Now.
I mean, if anything, the romance that it seemed most clear was him and Rey, and it's just like Rey does not have that feeling for.
So the thing with Rey, I thought he was gonna tell Rey that like he loved her too, right? Like it was kind of, I felt like that was implied, but I also read that it was actually implied that he was he wanted to tell her he was Force sensitive.
Yeah, I read that too. I'm like,
So I can see both. Like in the moment, I thought it was I love you, or like I have feelings for you, but I also can see why he would want to tell her like he can use the Force.
I mean, she's perfectly fine letting him handle her lightsaber.
Yeah,
when she needs to do something else.
And but now it's just a mystery. We're never gonna know.
Yeah,
yeah. Exactly. He has this point in the movie where he's like, Rey, and I didn't know if he was looking out the window, if he sensed it, but I was like, he could be Force sensitive. That could be something.
There were multiple times where he's like, I just have a feeling I have to go do something. So
exactly,
he definitely was Force sensitive.
And I love show don't tell. But this was one that they probably should have told and brought that up since made it a point that he has to tell something.
For
sure. But
I will say again, the mysticism, just the parts of the movie that were focused on the Force and it, like evolving and growing stronger with each new generation of people. That was my favorite element of the movie. Like, oh man, near the end where Rey hears the voices of all these classic characters, Yoda, Luke, like Vader, even seemingly when he was younger, Mace Windu,
They had
Ahsoka,
Kanan in it,
Qui-Gon.
and
Yeah,
stuff like
so
that.
many of
Really
these. Oh, that was
surprising.
great.
Yeah, that was cool.
But
No, yeah.
But what did you think of the whole element of Palpatine where it's like he wasn't just a bad guy, he was basically every bad person who ever lived rolled into one?
It was like, as much as it was like a weird movie because there was nothing really leading into it, I still enjoyed it, and I thought it was really awesome to see Palpatine like at his full evil potential, I guess, on like this robotic arm, just like his body hanging like 3 feet off the ground. He looked so decrepit, like his fingers were missing. It was pretty disgusting, but it was really cool.
It made sense because that's Darth Vader. Think about it. If you watch the prequels, he is this mangled body in this mechanical outfit. So I thought that was really cool and in line. It was just that in The Last Jedi, they made it such a point that it seemed like there was no connection to Palpatine, bringing him back here. But if you get past that part, yeah, I did actually like Palpatine in here. He's, he even has
what's really
do it or whatever.
What's really what's really ingenious about that design though? Palpatine attached to the giant robot arm that just seems to go somewhere off screen. The whole idea of Palpatine here is that he is a part of something bigger. He is just a vessel for the will of all Sith. And that kind of, that they illustrate that visually with the giant arm thing. Like he's just a funnel for all this dark power. They're all carrying him on their backs in a way.
Exactly.
So cool.
No, I did really like that design was actually legit. And I like that whole, the whole like the crowd of those followers, right? That stuff was kind of cool.
Yeah. That's what I love about this movie. It's all about connections. That's my favorite theme of it.
You know what I just put? I made a connection. I really liked the idea of Evil Rey. I wanted Evil Rey and Kylo Ren so bad. That was my power couple that I just really wanted to see. My friend David actually wore a shirt to the movie that said it was Reylo, Reylo, I think.
Reylo. That's a ship a lot of people have.
I ordered one of those shirts because I want it now. It'll be here in 7 to 12 business days. But
that existed for like one moment. The relationship. So not the evil Rey, but like good Rey and good Kylo.
Right. So, but I just kind of
it was
So there was the whole thing of like, I wanted you to take my hand, and she's like, but I wanted to take Ben's hand or whatever. But like, I wish in episode 8 she had gone evil or whatever, right? And then in episode 9 they're both evil, but they have to team up to take down Palpatine, and so they become good in that way.
That's a cool idea.
Like,
that would have been pretty dope. As much
as I preferred Rey being just a random somebody over, her secretly being the special person, the chosen one, or whatever. On the flip side, it does give us a good message about her not necessarily being predisposed to be bad. How it's not, your blood that makes you a person. You can act outside of that. You can make your own path. And I thought that was a good direction for this.
Yeah.
I see.
I liked the kiss too. I thought that was a great moment in the movie.
I know that ticked off a lot of people, but like again, that one made sense because come on, throughout the other movies there was some.
They were sitting there for almost too long, and I thought it was gonna happen, and I was gonna be disappointed, and then they did it, and I was like, thank God.
You know what didn't make sense though? Like Palpatine wanted her to kill him. And she was going to, right?
Yeah,
he's like, you know what? You need to kill me so you become me, basically. And then she's like, wait a minute, I'm not gonna do that now. If he would have just not said that, she probably would have killed him.
It is weird, right? Like, there's obviously, you can find plot holes and everything.
I have other issues,
and that's the thing. Again,
I
was just going to say there's a lot of stupid parts.
I got some stuff to talk about.
But okay, I just want to say one quickly was that so yeah, I don't think the problem with this trilogy was different directors. I think there was just a lack of a solid plan. If you're gonna let Rian Johnson do what he can do, you got to stick by that. But it seems like they didn't plan it out, and they were just like, okay, you do whatever. Oh, crud, what you did ruined our franchise or whatever. We got to get JJ back to fix it.
Right.
Because if you remember the original trilogy, it did have 3 different directors. George Lucas only directed the first movie. We all know how great that turned out. So I just wish if they gave Rian Johnson the liberty to do what he wants in the second one, then continue what you set in the second one, and you could say JJ, do what you want, but at least respect that Last Jedi one. It just seemed like they kind of disrespected what they did in Last Jedi.
Okay, hold on, time out.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be able to say then that 8 disrespected what they did in 7 by just going counter to everything?
Here's the thing. What they did made sense. It didn't feel like they were going back on things. They were building up hype in 7. Yeah, but here's the thing. With the Snoke thing, it was what happened was Snoke got killed. We didn't really not hear where he came from or anything. It was rather, this is the next step in the story, I felt like. In this one, it felt like, oh, forget that last step. We're going back on that because we want to win the fans back. So it felt like a step backward is my point.
I was thrilled when Snoke was cut down because I never found him that compelling of a character. I didn't care about what planet he came from or his connection to Palpatine or how old he was or if he was secretly Plagueis or whatever. Mm-hmm. He was just another scary, evil guy, which we've had before. When Kylo struck him down, I was like, yes, let's do this. I'm pumped. I want to see this angry. I want to see this angry 20-something go ham on the galaxy because he's just so entertaining that way.
Yeah, and they forgot about him being a villain and made Palpatine the villain, which is like, dude, it would have been cool to see this final movie where Kylo is like the ultimate villain.
It felt like with episode 7. Episode 8, if they were going to redeem him, they should have done it there than in this movie. But I will say, I liked in this movie his redemption scene with Han Solo. Because, there was some fan service here, but if that was fan service, that worked really well.
That's one of the things I didn't like. I have a number of things I didn't
you didn't like that one? You didn't like that one?
Yeah, that Han Solo thing. First, I'll let you say what you did.
Really?
What didn't you like about it?
Okay, I have a couple things. I could go through a few. The Han Solo part specifically is that I'm okay with Luke coming back as a Force ghost because that makes sense, right?
Right.
That's what Han Solo coming back as a memory that never happened. I feel like it was just fan service that was unnecessary to the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's Kylo clearly it's been imagining his father clearly.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
It wasn't a memory.
See, I like that. I didn't feel like I felt like when I'm like, but it had emotion to it. I thought it was a well-acted scene, and to me it made sense because this is his memory of his father that is making him change to be good. Right. And I thought that was kind of an interesting concept.
It should have been Leia that did it. But first of all, in terms of Leia, I felt like the scenes with her, I know they had to use whatever footage they may have had of her. Mm-hmm. I felt like it was really forced to try to make that work, at least me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with
nothing
that.
really fit right.
It
and it was
killed
awkward.
me though. How her body didn't leave until she could be with her son. Oh my gosh, that kills me.
She should have been the one to go to Kylo. I know they couldn't do that because obviously they didn't have that script written or whatever, but her doing it and dying in the process, almost the way that Luke did in the previous movie where he goes and fights this epic thing and it takes everything that he has to do it. Yep. That should have been what it was there instead of this Han Solo coming back and doing his thing.
Here's the thing. I do agree that it probably would have made more sense as Leia, but I thought as it stood, that scene with Han Solo was better than the scenes with Leia in this movie. Because again, they had to do what they had to do because they didn't have much to work with.
They should have killed her off in the last episode.
That was the dumbest one. Okay, maybe not the dumbest. But her not dying in episode 8 was so dumb because she just was frozen in space and then is alive. I didn't get that at all.
It's a perfect out.
But here's a reason I've heard, and it kind of makes sense. Basically, even Lucas had plans, if they ever did a sequel trilogy, to have episode 9 have Leia as the main, old character coming back. If you think about it, episode 7 had Han, episode 8 had Luke, episode 9 had Leia. So I think this was a way to respect that idea to say, okay, let's have Leia have a prominent role in this movie. And that's why she had that sacrifice there. So it seemed like something out of respect, but did it ultimately work? I don't think so. That's just my 2 cents.
They're like, let me hand you a lightsaber. I'm going to say a general line, and then we'll cut to another person saying something. Close-ups on face where she's looking sad or looking happy. And it was just, it was brutal. See, that was a gripe that I had. I'll say this. I walked away from the movie I enjoyed the movie. I gave it an 8 out of 10 when I left. I was happy with it. But as I thought about things like C-3PO, I think he had a perfect way to die there too. I know fans wouldn't have loved it, but he should have died in that process. And they should have made it instead of making a joke about shutting him down or killing him, they should have all been really upset that they had to do this, but it was the only way. So he's done. Chewbacca, I feel like they shouldn't have done the old switcheroo with the transporters. They could have killed him, even though that would have devastated everyone because everyone loves Chewbacca.
But that's the thing. I wish they did because.
But what purpose did he have beyond that? There was no. He didn't.
I will say my favorite Chewbacca
you,
moment, and I did like the moment where he finds out that like Leia's gone too, and he just breaks down sobbing.
Yeah, I think that was the purpose.
That was a great moment.
My only other issue that I had with the movie. Died. Like, I loved everything else about it, but I had an issue with the love interests that came into play with the bromance, breaking that up. That really was unnecessary to involve those two new women that had no purpose in the movie outside of just like, let's move this forward a little bit.
Wait, which people?
Whatever the girl's name was that that with Poe.
Oh,
yeah, that was kind of, I don't know. But then especially with Finn, which we kind of talked about already, that was like, let's forget about Rose and bring this new girl in that didn't have a whole much to add to the story either. Like they could have done the whole thing without her probably, other than the animals rushing onto the ship.
Yeah, I
don't know.
Again, I don't. Yeah,
it was just all over the place for the most part. The review that I read, which I read the review like after I watched it and everything, kind of said that the movie is almost like a video game. It's like you need to get this thing, so go here and do that, and that'll unlock this thing, and then you fight the boss at the end, which is Palpatine. And I guess that's fine because that's what people probably want, but I don't know. It's if this movie wasn't a part of the Star Wars saga or whatever, it has such high expectations, like every Star Wars movie, it would get a total pass if it wasn't that. You know? But
well, they made it the end of a saga.
Yeah, it's just tough. Like you're never gonna make everyone happy, but they could have done a few things differently, like get rid of Leia, kill off C-3PO, and.
I just want to remind everybody in the chat that yes, we all did like this movie. We like this new trilogy. We're just kind of frustrated by the game of tug of war, and it's like this kid being pulled in like two directions by the mom or the dad when they just want to live with their uncle.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Okay. What about Hux being a spy?
I was just gonna say that. I really liked that. Mostly, I really liked and I guess resonated with his quote of like, I don't care if the Resistance wins. I just need Kylo Ren to lose. And I'm like, that's exactly how I feel about like basketball. I don't need the Celtics to win. I just need LeBron to lose. Like,
yeah,
I totally thought that was a great line.
And that his little arc in this movie and in this trilogy was one of the best arcs of any character in this new trilogy, which is kind of weird.
It just kind of shows you that the First Order, just like a lot of the people in it, like Hux, they don't really have an ideology. They don't have principles. They're just about hate. And it's like as long as I manage to get mine, as long as I hurt this person, I'm okay with being taken down myself.
Mm-hmm. And I liked how it was a death, and it happened. That was it. They didn't go too much on it. It was just there, and that was it. They moved on. It felt like war in a way. People die, and that's it.
Just a part of it. What do we think about Luke being a part of the movie? We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, so I liked that. Like, I think we talked about, or someone mentioned it earlier, and how it was like a bad thing maybe, but like I liked that he kind of came back and he was like, I was wrong for not wanting to fight. And then he's like...
Well, that was from the last of the Last Jedi. He came back around the end of Last Jedi, so...
Well, right, but he didn't want Rey to go to Octu Island and just sit there forever. He was like, you need to go fight this. Mm-hmm. So I appreciated that.
And when he raises the X-Wing was pretty cool.
He's like, don't waste your life being a hermit like I did.
Go ahead, Nick.
I just like how he's like, don't waste your life being a hermit, the way I did. And I liked how... I did like the revelation that he and Leia knew who Rey was, but they didn't tell her. Not because they were worried that she would turn bad or something. They didn't want that weighing on her conscience. They didn't want her to feel restrained by that. Yeah. They wanted to let her become her own person.
Can I say my just in simple terms, favorite and least favorite parts of the movie? I'll have everyone go. I'll go first because I've already thought of mine. Yeah. Least favorite part of the movie, most shocking, jawing, like, oh my god, I can't believe you've done this moment. Bulio dies like 12 minutes in, and I was just sitting there in the theater, mouth open, like, how could you have done this? Why? Not Bulio. Yeah, I was like, this is the saddest thing ever. Bulio's dead. It's just his head. I thought it was so funny though.
It was jarring because they had like a joke like 1 second before that, and then cut to that, and it's like, oh wait, what?
Yeah, it was like plop
Knights
the
of
head
Ren
down. We found our spy, or like,
I was like,
we will
holy
find the spy,
shit.
like whatever. Like,
So,
this is what happens if you're the spy. Like, so beautifully done. And then my true favorite part though was definitely I think the Rey Kylo kiss. I mean, I gotta watch it again, but I really like that was really built up into nicely for me. I was like, I can get behind this.
Like, I'm just gonna say, I do not think those two would be able to make a relationship that lasts. Because think about what it's built upon. You know, Kylo Ren, he did abuse her. He tortured her, tried to get inside her head, tried to break her down and tell her that she's nothing, and that she has no choice but to come running back to him. That is exactly what pattern abusers do. So, I think it's probably for the best that they had their moment, but then he died, because I'm not sure a relationship between them would have lasted or been healthy.
Yeah, I don't.
Just because
I don't.
all that stuff.
That moment again. For me. Oh wait, sorry. Actually, I guess who would be next in best and worst?
You
moments?
go,
I guess
Justin.
I'll take it. My favorite moment, anything with Kylo Ren, because I think
so good.
The most interesting character here, and least favorite moment. I'm thinking about what moment would I go out if I really had to pee. What moment would I leave? But I'm not sure. I'll get back to you on least favorite moment.
That's a good one.
I gotta
go to the
now.
bathroom.
Yeah,
that wasn't that bad.
My favorite moment. It's hard for me to decide because again, I love the moments where they're like connected through the Force. I love the moment where they're fighting and she's on his ship, he's on the ground, and things are like going back and forth between them. That was an awesome scene. I love that. But I also love a similar scene towards the end where she just kind of looks and tosses the lightsaber over to him. Like, here you go. You wanted this so bad.
Yeah.
Those are like my favorite scenes. My least favorite scene. Oh yeah, okay. Look, this is gonna sound kind of nitpicky, but it's when, oh dang, I've already forgotten her name. The old lady, the really old lady.
Maz
Maz, yeah, when she was explaining how this will take all the strength Leia has left.
Oh yeah.
You don't need to explain that to us. We just saw this happen in the last movie. We could see what she's doing.
Yes. Yeah.
Just that kind of clunky exposition.
Like
Maz could have been close to like this is a good story for another timeline, and episode 7 was never really fulfilled. Like that's a story for another whatever.
It felt like they were just like okay, might not get it because explain to the screen, Lupita Nyong'o.
Like just play the somber music and but actually wait, now I have another favorite moment. It was when like how her body stayed. She didn't become a Force ghost until she could be with her son.
Right.
That was incredibly moving to me. That just about killed me.
All right, so, Greg, what do you got? Oh, go. Sorry, Nick.
All I was going to say is there were plenty of moments that I liked in this movie. It's basically a collection of moments. Some of them are stupid. Some of them are pure magic.
Yeah. Greg, what do you got?
I really love the redemption of Kylo Ren. I mean, beyond the Han Solo thing, like him deciding that he's going to be good, and then that when he fights his way through the Knights of Ren, and Rey puts her hand behind her back, and the lightsaber comes over, and he, rescues her. I would have loved for them to live happily ever after, and unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I thought that was great.
Can I say something about that scene? That was kind of set up earlier in the movie by the fact that like when they were like Force seeing each other, whatever the heck it is, like how they would have physical objects from where they are like end up with each other. That's totally like built up, and then it actually happens in like an important scene, and I'm like, that was pretty dope. So
that's one of some of my favorite parts of the movie too, is just the fact that sometimes they'll be in like Kylo's world, sometimes they'll be in Rey's world, but they can interact. And when he snatches the necklace off of her, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that could happen, and then it happened a couple more times when like weird like I don't know, like grapes or
they
something
were so
spilling.
in tune.
Yeah, and then
I think that new Force power was a little bit more interesting, and I guess it made more sense than the healing powers, which the healing powers, while I do like that, the kiss or whatever and all that, it's like the more you think about it, it's
the
like,
healing powers might have been set up in another series of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which one?
One you haven't watched.
Oh, the Clone Wars?
No.
Ooh.
Watch it.
Okay, I'll check it out.
No. I mean another series that you have neglected to keep up with.
I know exactly what you guys are talking about. The Mandalorian. Aren't the
Yeah,
healing
yeah.
powers though a little bit like
Oh, I thought it
it's
was
kind of
kinda
like
dumb.
a cheap way to time
Yeah.
travel a little bit? It's like, hey, we're gonna undo that thing that just happened.
Well,
Like,
like I think the way they did it was okay. How it's like you're using your own life force, essentially transplanting it. So if you keep doing it, you end up dying yourself. And with both of these characters kind of on their last legs, Kylo only had a little bit of energy left to give to her. I should just call him Ben. I also thought it was hilarious how he had this look on his face after they kissed, like, worth it.
Yes.
yeah.
Great success.
Well, there you go. With the healing stuff, it wasn't the worst thing, but yeah, it was just like a little. I don't know, but they're always introducing new things with the Force in each of these movies, so I don't mind that.
Yeah. My least favorite thing would have been, I guess it kind of goes back to Leia. I think if they had just excluded her from the movie, it would have been a better movie because of it.
Yeah. So my least favorite was kind of facetious with the Bulio thing. My true least favorite moment also includes Leia, is at the very end of the movie where it's Rey, out in the desert of Tatooine, and some random old lady walks up to you and it's like, Rey who? And it's like, so at this moment you have like three options. You can be like, I'm Rey Palpatine, I'm just Rey, which I think I would have liked the most, because like that was kind of like, you can be anybody and be special, right? Like, I'm just Rey. Or as we found out, she could say Skywalker apparently, and that's what she did. And in the moment, I guess I was really dumb, and I'm like, are they implying that Luke and Leia had Rey as their daughter? Because that's just nasty.
Oh my god!
I asked my brother after. I'm just like, we're not sure. We're sure, right? That didn't happen.
I was waiting this entire series for Luke to be Rey's father. I thought the whole situation was he hid her to keep her safe and all that. That didn't happen, obviously.
No, I thought she was going to be a Kenobi or something.
Back to the whole Skywalker
It just
thing.
means that she and Kylo if she and Ben would have gotten married, and she would have taken his name.
Oh wait, I didn't even think of it that way. I was just like, oh, figurative. She could be whoever she wants.
I like that, Nick. I didn't think of
but
it
his
that
name's
way.
His last name's not Skywalker. His last name's Solo.
So you're right. Yeah, never mind. I don't like that, Nick.
Busted. But I did have a funny story of before the Skywalker, her uttering that. You know how there was that long pause? There was this dude like a little bit further down from me. He's like, Skywalker.
Everybody around was like, oh, she's going to say Skywalker.
I'm just imagining what it looked like from the old lady's perspective, though. She asked the question, and then this girl just turns over to the right for like 15 seconds. And it's like, you gonna answer?
Yeah. What's going on? You're lying to me.
But wow, that is kind of freaky to think about, though. Like, while he is a Solo, I do think it's kind of crazy now to think that like the Skywalkers are gone. That bloodline has ended. That's kind of wow. Who would have known? Like the Palpatines would have exceeded them.
Don't worry. In episode 10, they're gonna actually have a secret child.
One thing we missed out on here. We didn't talk about Lando at all.
Oh, yeah, he had. A decent part.
He had a weird moment at the end. I don't know.
Is he that girl
with Jono
or what?
He was totally like trying to do this. Yeah.
Was he macking on her? Or was he her dad?
He's
like, I'll tell you some things.
I was like, that's
I think
weird, but also in line with his character. But apparently, in an old script or something like that, that was a plot line that she was his daughter, long lost daughter.
Daughter or macking or both?
Yeah, I have no clue. That's one of the ones like, Finn's secret. We'll just never know officially.
I like that part where he's like, "Are you gonna tell?" Like, I think Poe was like, "Are you gonna tell me now? You gonna tell me?" And then like, it still didn't happen. Then I'm like, "Come on!"
Exactly.
Right before they get killed, almost.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. Because they had definitely set that up. Like that was. While I now understand that he was probably going to tell her that he was Force sensitive, in the moment, like when I got out of the movie, I was like, why didn't we never find out what Finn was going to say? And that one was killer to me leaving the movie.
I think that's a problem, I think, because again, I don't like when they explain everything. They kept mentioning, they spent time on in the movie. Yeah. You're just kind of left thinking.
It's something you've given space to in your head, and then nothing ever happens with it.
It doesn't have closure. Something like, for example, Snoke's origins before, this movie came out. Like, they gave closure to the character because he's dead. That's it. I don't really care. But for something like that, you build it up, and it's something with a key character who's still alive in the end. And there was no reason not to say it, but they didn't. So I don't know. That bothered me, I think. Yeah.
What about the celebration at the ending? Any thoughts on what you saw there, or
Well, I like the Ewok showing up again. Actually, I thought that was cute.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. I'm never a fan of like the let's all dance around scenes. I didn't. I like. I was
They
just
didn't dance
that scene.
around.
I just kind of no. Yes, they did. Like at the where
They were all hugging,
Yeah.
and some people happened to be kissing. That seemed.
Oh,
to be,
I know you were getting at that, but I didn't really care about that.
it seemed forced to me, but
it was
it's fine.
forced. It was absolutely forced.
I was at the background. I was like
there for like half a second. You know, it's like, okay, let's get this out of the way. And nothing to see here, folks.
Yeah, I didn't care about it, but
let's show that this is okay and cool.
This is with that specific part. It felt like because they were building up. They're like, okay, episode 9 is gonna have the first gay characters or whatever. And then they show it for 1 second. 2 minor characters. I don't even know the name of that character. I know the name of that character, and it's like if you guys had, the guts, do something more prominent. But no, I don't like it when you do that because if you stand by that and you build that up,
I would have loved it if it was Poe and Finn kissing.
That would have made perfect sense. None of us would be mad at that.
He's like, Ray, I have something to tell you.
Look, guys, it's not about our preferences or anything like that. It's about commitment. It's about having the chutzpah to see through what you set up.
Exactly, because to me, when you build that up, and when you do all this press and all this, and you do that, it feels like you don't even believe in any of that. You're just trying to get people in and sell them on something false. I think Red Letter Media put it right in the video. They call it like a controversy, where they'll say, "Oh, Lando's pansexual or whatever," but they don't do anything about it or anything like that. Oh, this character in Beauty and the Beast is gay, but really in the movie, there's no way to indicate that. Nothing like that. I don't know. I hate it when movies do that because it just feels so disgenuine. That's my 2 cents, though.
Yeah.
I guess it's just I guess you could call it lip service.
That's probably a good word to put it. There you go.
Jesus. All right. Well, do
we get people talking at the least?
we want to open it up to chat for like 10 minutes here before we wrap? It's already been an hour and a half, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Nerding out over Star Wars.
Yeah. Lego questions, Star Wars questions, whatever you guys got. So, someone said that scene was easily edited for China. So
apparently, it was in for China.
Really?
They didn't cut it. I was surprised because I'm like,
somewhere it was because I do think that was a thing. But I think my brother said he read an article that was like Chinese audiences don't react poorly to gay kiss or whatever. It was like, all right, I guess that's news.
One thing I did love about that scene though, it's like you had all these different species or whatever coming together, and it kind of is like that'd be cool if we could do that in the real world where everybody's just coming together and celebrating this one thing and being united on something. It'd be kind of cool to see that, right? Like,
everybody's always
that one guy who gave like this big old hug to the giant slug monster that had more feels than that other shot.
Right. Oh, I was gonna say actually one thing. What you guys? I mean, I don't know if you guys care, but Wedge showing up for a second. Wedge Antilles? No, nothing.
When did he show up?
He showed up in the whole fleet of everybody. He was that old guy for 1 second. When I saw him, I'm like,
I don't think I caught it.
Shoot.
I don't know.
Because he was, it seemed like he was against coming back for Force Awakens. Like, so I was really surprised to see him there. It was just a small moment. What was that?
Are you talking about Billy D. Williams, the guy who played Lando?
No, Wedge Antilles.
Oh.
He was from the original trilogy. He had like 1 second here, and I was just like, oh, that's kind of cool, because I didn't expect him to come. It didn't feel like fan service there for a second. It was a little cameo. I was like, and same with the Ghost was in the fleet, right? They had the Ghost ship from Rebels and the fleet, and I was like, that's kind of cool. That makes sense. I like that. Just little things like that. Not too obnoxious, but just a little reference for the fans.
Okay, someone says, what do we think about the scene where everyone came to help?
That's that scene, yeah.
Where'd they come from is what I want to know.
The day looked lost.
Yeah.
The battle was won whenever
they really made it seem like there was no one left in this battle, and then it's like, okay, we got everybody from everywhere that was just kind of like hanging out and waiting, I guess.
They all happened to show up at the same time.
Yeah. Whereas in previous movies, it's like, it's literally just us, like 12 people. We're all we got left.
Yeah.
And look, I enjoy seeing that kind of imagery too, but look, here's the thing about fan service. I just found this tweet that sums it up really well. It said, "The Last Jedi is about how people are more important than things. Luke's lightsaber, Holdo's ship, Kylo's wannabe Vader helmet, the Jedi Temple, Rose's resistance symbol, and Sisterhood half necklace. They're all sacrificed, thrown away, or destroyed. But, at least a few people survive." That was like the message of that movie, and that's why like some people, I guess, are at odds with it because to them the iconography of Star Wars, the toys themselves, are basically the most important thing. And this felt like an answer to that. This movie felt like it was saying, yes, Star Wars is awesome, and all these Star Warsy things are awesome, and you're good for liking it. Here's a big old pat on the back. That's that's fan service. And I guess
Yeah.
I don't go to movies because I need a pat on the back for watching them. I just want them to stand on their own.
Exactly.
It feels so weird saying all this criticism of this movie when I did like it.
Same.
Yeah, I liked it too, again, but I think Last Jedi stood more on its own, was something I'll remember more, something that took more risks, and I like that. But
I did just like that overall message, how things that we remember that we're nostalgic about and we associate with some glorious past and we enshrine them and we invest so much emotion in them, but what really matters are the people in our lives and not
like
overlooking or neglecting them.
Did this movie even have a message? Like did it have meaning? Like
Well, like I
Rise
said,
of Skywalker?
it did have the message that comes with, the Palpatine connections, that it's not your bloodline that makes you a person, it's your decisions. And
I
how,
guess you're right. Yeah,
Rey
you're right.
was able
And I
to
guess
move past her
Ky-
heritage.
Kylo's storyline, it's like even if you do terrible things, there's always a chance for redemption as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like that message right there is something I've seen in Star Wars before. That the redemption arc, it's
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's why something like that, it felt less prominent.
Like even killing his dad comes back and is just like, hey, it's okay, you can do this.
Yeah.
I will just say, like, as a bit of optimism, is that look, as divisive as these recent films have been, to me, this is just Tuesday because, like, look, this is sort of revisionist history. Like, I remember growing up with the prequels, in that era, and just how awful the discourse was back then. The Star Wars discourse has always been bad. The problem kind of is us, the fans. And now that the sequels are out, people are looking back at the 2000s, at the prequels and going, actually, they weren't that bad. They were great. At least they weren't like these.
The thing about
Same thing happened with Terminator. Like, they had a bunch of films, and then, like, by the time the fifth one came out, people really hated that. They declared that was the death of the franchise. Now a new one comes out, and suddenly they're looking back and going like, it was okay. At least it wasn't this new one. And I just wish people would just, like, not revise history like that. Like, Star Wars discourse has always been pretty awful. But I think we could try to be better. I'm going to cross my fingers that we're going to try to be better.
All right, I'm looking for more questions, but I don't see any good ones unless you guys pick
I'm
something
sorry
out
I
you see.
rambled for so long.
No, I mean,
be.
even with that, I was going to say everybody has a different opinion of what Star Wars should be. And in the original trilogy is different from the prequels, different from the sequels. And then in the future, people are going to be like, well, actually, the sequels were the best. And then they make this fourth trilogy or whatever. So it's at the end of the day, I think the fans, we don't really have a specific thing of what we want.
Yeah.
And it felt almost with this movie, they were trying to please everybody. And it just, I don't know.
The thing is, we really do need to rein it in because, like, think of Jake Lloyd, the guy who played Little Annie, and how his life was basically ruined because all the blame for how those movies turned out fell on the lap of a little boy. You would think that he made the creative decisions, but no, it was all Lucas. But people got mad at the kid because he was an easy target, because he was there for them to kick and spit
Where
on.
did we see that again?
Yeah.
Last Jedi Rose, exactly. It's like,
yep. It's like, we need to stop going after these people. Like, the guy who played Jar Jar, who wore the suit that, they animated over, he nearly killed himself. At least
I heard about that.
awful.
It's like, we need to stop being so vicious. Good Lord.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, it's a movie, and it's something that, even if I say, oh, I did not like this movie, it was awful or whatever, that's it. That, it's a movie, and it's something that it's a creative thing, and it was made. That's it. Don't get too bothered over it and attack the people who worked on it and everything.
But this is people's lives. Like, Star Wars are people's lives.
True. I know it's true, and it's like sometimes people take things too far, and I guess you could say that with anything.
Yeah.
Lego
Have you read my YouTube
stuff
comments?
unrelated.
No
I
matter
know,
which
exactly
route you
right.
put this movie, not everyone is going to be happy. You can make a lot of people happy, but never everyone.
Yeah. And I felt like they should have done less of, okay, let's try to make everybody happy. Okay, let's make something that follows what we started here and explore that further. But at the end of the day, again, I still like the movie, but who knows?
Right. I just want to say thank you to JB Productions for the $3 donation. She says, "Hey, WTF happened in October?" Yes.
Why are you asking in December?
Yeah. I just didn't finish. I think it's pretty obvious. Nothing happened. Like I lost all motivation to do it, and I didn't do it because I'm my own boss and I don't have to. So that's the fairest answer I can give you. I feel like.
Let's start Mocksember, okay?
Well, it's almost over, so next year.
Exactly. 1 year. Mockuary.
So, in summation, we all like the movie, but we are conflicted about it because it's clearly, like being pulled in like two directions,
right?
And so are we.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm super conflicted. Like, I really liked the movie coming out of it, and I still really like it. I'm gonna see it again tomorrow night, but I don't think at any point I'm gonna look back on this like I did The Last Jedi and just be like, why was that so bad? So, like that
for me, I like The Last Jedi better, but hey, I saw this twice.
Really?
And I enjoyed it. I had fun. Whatever. Yeah,
I'm seeing it again on Tuesday with my brother in Medea.
there you go. It's like we're all criticizing it. It's because we do all love Star Wars. It's something that means a lot to even.
Right.
We see all that it could be, even in this new direction.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, we still got The Mandalorian,
Yes, The Mandalorian's amazing, but we can't talk about it. Yeah. Some people didn't watch it. All right.
Hey, well, so, I know more than enough.
I think that's it. Nick?
Okay.
Where can people find you, other than the link in the description below?
Yes. Well, of course, there is my YouTube channel. They can also find me on DeviantArt. Most of my art from over a decade now. I'm on Twitter. Most of these things have like some variation of Nick on Planet Ripple, Nick on Ripple, something like that. Let's see. So there's my Twitter. There's my Instagram that I don't use enough. There's a Facebook page for Planet Ripple itself. And there's a couple other things. I still have not set up a Patreon, but I probably should get around to that. So yeah, those are most of the places that you can find me.
All right.
Thank you everybody for your support, and thank you for having me on board, guys.
Of course, anytime.
Sure.
Thank you for making awesome videos.
We talked about Star Wars a lot today.
I mean, it was literally the most important Star Wars movie in a while. So,
I breezed through the Lego Rewind stuff as fast as I could because I'm like, I want to make sure we have enough time for Star Wars.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Greg and Justin, as well. Do you guys have anything else you want to say?
I was going to say, do you want me to make a thumbnail for this?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. I have a good idea for it.
Okay.
Just Nick's face.
Yeah, that's it.
Try to fix that hair up, though. Because it didn't Photoshop.
Oh, no. I got an idea.
All right. All right. Thank you guys very much for watching this live episode of Bricks and Bits. We hope you did enjoy, and we'll probably see you again in the new year. Goodbye.